My great-great-grandpa, Gregorio Esparza, chose to stay in Texas and defend the Alamo. His brother, Francisco, was a member of the Mexican army, so they found each other in opposite sides. But Gregorio was ready to go to battle.
As America marks 250 years of independence, this sponsored program, presented by Ancestry in partnership with CNN Originals, explores how Americans from all walks of life helped shape this nation. In the American Southwest, in 1820, the biggest population in this area would be the Native American population. So if you think of the minority is then who's left. So there's about 7,000 of those. 4,000 of those people are the Tejano people.
My name is Benny Garza. I'm a descendant of Gregorio Esparza. Gregorio was born here in San Antonio, 1802. He was the Tejano, natural Texan. We know that the Tejanos and the Anglos, they got along great because they married into each other's family. And it was widely accepted.
The Tejanos are Mexicans born in Texas, and they had lived there for generations and generations.
When you're trying to trace the ancestry of the Tejano people, there are a few things that are going to make it a little tricky. You've got names that were anglicized. You've got records that don't specifically say they're of Mexican or Tejano descent. At the same time, in the American Southwest, we've got this really great record set. It's because the church is keeping track of these people. So one can build really vibrant trees because it does track through the different generations.
In Texas, we start Texas history in 7th grade. We learned about the Alamo. It was Travis, Bowie, and Crockett.
Crockett, Travis, and Bowie are known as the Holy Trinity. It speaks to the religious fervor that Texans have around this story. The Alamo legend stirs real emotions, hot emotions.
We think of the Alamo as a bunch of white settlers who were standing up to the Mexican army, when in actuality, you've got 45 to 50 Tejano neighbors who were there during the battle.
My great-great-grandpa, Gregorio Esparza, chose to stay and defend the Alamo. Together, the Texans and the Tejanos joined forces. It was pretty much, I don't want to be ruled by a Mexican tyrant. And that's what Gregorio believed in. Gregorio is manning his cannon. He ends up taking the ball to the chest. Gregorio ended up dying defending the Alamo.
The fact that a Tejano was as much a builder of this country as someone on the Mayflower will make the tapestry of the United States richer, more interesting, and more diverse.
We think of these big historical moments in the United States, right? But you don't think about your person's connection to them. And maybe my person was standing next to your person, right? We don't get those connections all the time, but they're there.
My name's John Carson, and Kit Carson was my great-grandfather. Kit was born December 24th, 1809, in Madison County, Kentucky. He wanted to be a mountain man, a fur trapper. It was the freedom of the lifestyle.
Kit Carson was a hero to his contemporaries. They wrote magazine articles about him. He's the subject of dime novels.
Using the twists and turns of this man's life, you could tell a much bigger story, which is the story of manifest destiny and the conquest of the American West.
In early 1847, all areas that the United States military enters into during the US-Mexico War experiences some level of resistance. Carson is with the leader of the Army of the West, Stephen Watts Kearny, trying to conquer California.
Kit is going to guide them along the Gila River, through the Mojave Desert, and eventually they'll get to San Diego. It was a hard trek.
They finally come to a little village called San Pascual in the Chaparral country of Southern California. And there they encounter a Spanish force that is well-equipped, knows the terrain. Kearny's outnumbered. So he asks for a volunteer to somehow get to San Diego, where it is believed there are U.S. Marines.
So Kit and 2 men volunteer to go get help. So at night, the 3 of them head off through the Mexican line. They notice that their boots are making too much noise on the rocky ground, so they take their shoes off.
Carson has to walk all the way to San Diego, barefoot, 25 miles across the desert in this rough cactus-strewn landscape, but he does it, even though his feet are just ripped to shreds. He got to the Marines, got the message that Kearny's men were in desperate state at San Pascual, and the Marines very quickly marched there and overwhelmed the Mexican forces, saved Kearny and his men in their hour of need. So Carson is considered the hero of the Battle of San Pascual.
His myth was really blown up, which was a little embarrassing to him as well. But at the same time, you've got to look at him as a product of his time. If we use our own contemporary lenses, the things that made him a hero then would probably not be how we viewed him today. His normal is not our normal. And so I think it's always good to just use a little bit of compassion when you're looking at your ancestors, because their world was not the same as our world.